Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's lecture, we are going to talk about how to manage a large corpus of documents. Before that, hope you liked the new background. Continuing with the lecture, how would you intuitively manage a large corpus of documents? Say you have 10,000 documents and your manager or your boss or anyone else or you yourself want to manage those 10,000 documents. Well, you need to segregate those documents in order to make them manageable. How would you do that? Well, you could use your manual effort, you could use your time to go through all of those documents and then categorize them into different groups, different categories. But what if data science could take your load? Well, data science can actually take your load and save a lot of manual effort, even up to 80 to 90% of your manual effort there. Data science deploys two different approaches. One is the classification approach, the other is the clustering approach. Classification approach is a supervised learning technique, whereas clustering is unsupervised learning technique. How these two different approaches differ, right? In classification, you take a subset of your large corpus of document, you manually tag the documents or manually group the documents, and then using the model built, you try to categorize the remaining set of documents. Whereas in unsupervised clustering approach, you allow the model to itself decide the category or the groups it wants to put the documents into. There would be a trade-off in terms of accuracy between the classification and clustering, but you would save on a lot of manual effort because even manually classifying or manually categorizing a subset of 10% of documents, around 1,000 documents, is not trivial and could take a lot of manual effort. So in today's lecture, we are going to talk about how unsupervised approach using topic modeling can help you manage large corpus of documents. Let us understand what topic modeling is. In statistics and natural language processing, a topic model is a type of statistical model for discovering abstract topics that occur in a collection of documents. It is a text mining tool for discovering hidden or latent structures in a text body. So why hidden? Because we do not know previously what are the different topics that the documents would be grouped into. It is an unsupervised approach. The model does not know anything about the documents prior. Also, the topics that would be generated as a result of this process would be abstract in nature. They might not make any vocabulary based sense, but they would be sufficient enough to help you manage your documents. Let us see an example between the manual tagging approach and topic modeling approach. In manual tagging, for example, if you have used Stack Overflow, whenever you raise a question, Stack Overflow would ask you to label set of tags for your question so that it will enable it to group that question into the different categories into with the different questions, right? Those tags would enable it. However, in topic modeling, you would not require any such manual tagging. Now, what does abstract means? As we discussed, now abstract exists in thought and idea, but does not have a concrete existence. So, as we said, like it might not make any vocabulary sense, but it will absolutely help you. So, the same example, like how the topic modeling would look like, how can you uh, try to understand topic modeling using this figure. You can see that there could be various topics within a document. For example, a document could talk about dogs, it could talk about cats, it could talk about animals in general, it could talk about foods, it could talk about travel, it could talk about places. So a document could contain multiple topics. Now, using these topics, how are you going to cluster these documents? So there are two primary approaches to topic modeling: latent semantic analysis and latent derelict analysis. In latent semantic analysis, there is an assumption that words that are closer in meaning will occur in similar pieces of text or in similar documents. It uses singular value decomposition, whereas latent derelict analysis is a generative probabilistic model. It uses the probabilistic distribution. How? We will talk about LSA in this episode, whereas we'll talk about LDA in other lectures. LSA can be classified broadly into three different phases. The first is the document word frequency matrix. Second is SVD, singular value decomposition. Third is topic encoded data. Now, what is document word frequency matrix? You have a large corpus of documents, and among those documents, you have words. Now, from those words, we remove any stop words or words which do not add any meaning to the document. For example, the word the would not give you any idea about the document it is present in. It would be present as a general in across all the documents. It is not a distinctive characteristic. So we'll remove such words, right? Next, we prepare a document word frequency matrix where the each row would be a word, would represent a term, each column would represent a document, and the cell would denote the number of times a particular word is appearing in a particular document. Next, a very interesting concept, SVD, from linear algebra, and we will talk about it in detail. So, moving ahead, let us understand SVD. Mathematically, if you recall from a fourth standard, factorization denotes like breaking up a number into the smaller numbers such that they multiply and build the original number. For example, 8 could be factorized into 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2. Similarly, 30 could be factorized into 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 5. In the same intuitive sense, SVD is nothing but a matrix factorization technique where you have a matrix which you factorize into different submatrices. In SVD, particularly, we have three matrices that we factorize into, and those three matrices have a definitive form. For example, the matrix T would be decomposed into U, sigma, V transpose. Now we'll talk about the terminologies. Transpose. Transpose is nothing. You take a matrix, you revert its rows into its columns and columns into rows, right? Now, U and V transpose are orthogonal matrices. Orthogonal matrices, now you would remember like what is an inverse of a matrix? The inverse of a matrix, if you multiply any matrix with its inverse, it would give you identity matrix. It's similar to if you multiply 8 with its inverse, that is 1 by 8, you would have 1. So the same intuitive sense works here. However, the calculation of an inverse of a matrix is slightly different from the way we calculate the inverse of a whole number. We will not go into the details of it, but just to give you an idea. Now, the orthogonal matrix is nothing where the inverse of a matrix is equal to its transpose. So, SVD decomposes a matrix T into U, sigma, V transpose. U and V transpose are orthogonal matrices. Sigma is a diagonal matrix. A diagonal matrix is nothing in which all elements except the ones on the left diagonal are 0. Okay. Moving ahead, let us also analyze this chart and and have an intuitive sense of what these different types of matrices, diagonal matrix, orthogonal matrix, in a broader sense, in our intuitive sense, resemble. So we are considering an example of 2 cross 2 matrix. So matrix is also a collection of vectors. So here we have 2 cross 2 matrix. This 2 cross 2 matrix would be represented by two arrows, the two vectors. Orthogonal matrices are rotational matrices. When you multiply any matrix by an orthogonal matrix, the matrix would be rotated by a certain degree. For example, here M is when multiplied by V transpose, which is an orthogonal matrix, would formulate a rotation matrix. Again, U would give you a rotational matrix. Sigma is a diagonal matrix, and diagonal matrices are nothing but the scaling factors or scaling matrices. So when you multiply any matrix with a diagonal matrix, it would scale, as you can see in the image here. Hope you are having an intuitive understanding of what SVD is and how the different kinds of matrices appear. So, talking about the terminologies, we had previously the document term frequency matrix. This document term frequency matrix, let us denote it by T. Using SVD, it would be decomposed into U, sigma, and V transpose. U would denote your term topic correlation matrix, sigma would denote the topic strength, whereas V would denote the document topic correlation matrix. So what do you have now? From your document term frequency matrix, you have generated a word topic correlation matrix and a document topic correlation matrix. Using this in combination with topic strength, you would get for each document which topic it would belong to, for each word which topic it would belong to. So now that you have a very clear picture of topic modeling using LSA, let us have the very brief recall. What we discussed here is LSA has three different phases. The very first phase is document term frequency matrix, where we build a document term frequency matrix. The second is SVD, where we decompose this document term frequency matrix into three different matrices, which are nothing but word topic correlation matrix, a diagonal matrix, which is the topic strength, and another orthogonal matrix, which is the document topic correlation matrix. Hope you enjoyed the lecture. See you in the next. Bye bye. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel.